All right, let's talk about a blueprint for a totally new kind of internet. And I don't just mean an update. I'm talking about a fundamental redesign, one that's all about shifting the power away from giant platforms and putting it back into the hands of individuals. We're going to dive into a digital world that's built for owners, not just users. Let's get right into it. And that really brings us to the big question, the one you should be asking yourself about your own digital life. Right now, are you a user or are you an owner? Because the answer to that question, well, it's about to change in a really big way. Okay, so before we can talk about where we're going, we've got to get real about where we are right now. And for most of us, that's inside something called the digital walled garden. It's this place where a handful of massive platforms get to make all the rules. Now, when you're inside these walls, the deal is pretty straightforward, but not in a good way. If you're a creator, you don't actually own your space, you're just renting it. You're a tenant, and you're totally at the mercy of the landlord's whims. And for everybody else, your data, your attention, your entire digital life, that's the real product that's being bought and sold. I mean, just look at this comparison. It really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the world we're in now. Total centralized control, your data being sold, a huge 30% gatekeeper tax on everything creators make, and algorithms that can just choke your reach. But on the other side, we see a totally different vision. A world where you actually own your data, you pay zero platform tax, and you have a real direct line to your community. So the big question is, how do we make that jump? How do we get out of that garden? Well, the solution here goes way beyond the usual chatter about Web3 or decentralization. It's a leap to a completely new idea, achieving true digital sovereignty. Digital sovereignty? What does that even mean? Well, at its heart, it's a massive shift. It's you going from being the product to being the owner. It's about building the actual foundation, the infrastructure that lets every single person, every brand, every company have real, undeniable ownership of their space online. Now look, this isn't just some lofty idea, right? This is a real vision, and it's backed by a complete end-to-end set of tools designed from the ground up to actually build this new digital society. This is what's called the Web4 technology stack. Okay, let's start at the top layer of this stack. It's called Atrium, and you can basically think of it as social networks as a service. It's a tool that lets any group, any company, any creator build their own version of a social network. But the key is, they're the ones completely in charge. And that control is the whole point, right? You're in the driver's seat. You control the algorithm. You design the user experience from the ground up. The whole system is built for communities to grow organically, and it even has tools to help you bring your existing communities over, nice and smooth. Okay, so that's the network. Now, how do you get in? That's the access layer. And honestly, this is the real cornerstone of the whole thing. It's called UID, or Universal Integrated Identity. Just think of it like a universal digital passport that you control, and it gets you into everything across this new ecosystem. And the benefits here, they're huge. We're talking one-click control over whether you're anonymous or verified. The whole system is passwordless, which gets rid of one of the biggest reasons data breaches happen. It uses some really smart tech, like zero-knowledge proofs, which is just a fancy way of saying you can prove something, like that you're over 21, without actually revealing your birthday. And this isn't just for people, it's for businesses too, creating super secure corporate identities. All right, next up, we've got the application layer, which is called TRIVE. Think of this as your toolbox. It's the whole suite of software you'd need to run a business or manage your community. But here's the game changer. The model is free and unlimited. It's designed to let you scale up without getting punished with a success tax just because you're growing. And to make sure this whole thing is truly independent, the stack goes all the way down, right down to the physical hardware. We're talking private data storage solutions and even specialized hardware, all built and optimized for this new world. The goal is a completely sovereign system, from the code itself all the way to the machine it runs on. Okay, so we've got the big idea, we've got the tech, but what's the bottom line? For a creator, for a builder, what's in it for you? Let's talk about the real-world value here, the practical advantages of true ownership. Let's start with this number, 0, as in 0% platform tax. Just think about that, compared to the 30s, sometimes more, that the big gatekeepers take right off the top of everything you earn. In this ecosystem, the revenue you generate goes directly to you, 100% of it. Just look at this table. I mean, it's night and day, right? The platform feed drops from 30% to 0. The creator's revenue goes from maybe 70% to a full 100%. Control over your data shifts from the platform to you, the network owner. And the algorithm, it goes from being some secret black box to something you actually control. This is a complete flip of the current power dynamic.
So what does all this add up to? It's basically a builder's unfair advantage. You get algorithm independence, which means no more shadow banning or having your reach throttled for no reason. You get data integrity, because your community's data is your asset to protect, not something to be packaged up and sold. And you get strategic defensibility, a secure, independent environment that's built to last.
So you take the tech, you take the new economics, the whole philosophy, and it all boils down to one simple thing. It's an invitation for you to stop being just a tenant and to start being a builder. I want you to really let this sink in. This isn't just a small step forward. The whole idea of being a user, just a passive person on someone else's platform, that's ending. The era of being an owner has officially begun. So how do you start? The path forward, this exodus from the old way, it's actually pretty simple. 3 steps. Step 1, build your network with these new tools. Step 2, own your identity, really own it. And step 3, lead your community with the freedom and the power that only true ownership can give you. So, if you're ready to take that first step, here's where you go. Visit web4.community. That's where the journey from user to owner kicks off. So I'll just leave you with this question. A question for every creator, every entrepreneur, every builder out there listening right now. What will you build when you're not just renting space anymore, but you're the architect of your very own digital world? Think about that.